First on the Gulf Coast with breaking news and weather. Fox 10 Midday starts now.
Well, good morning to you, and thank you so much for choosing Fox 10 Midday. It's Tuesday, July 7th. I'm Ashlyn Mitchell, joined by meteorologist Kelly Foster.
Hey,
and
Ashlyn.
Kelly, it was a beautiful morning this morning, but I know things are heating up.
Oh, they are heating up fast. It felt like a sauna this morning, and then right now it just feels blistering hot out there.
It does.
So no doubt about it, the dog days of summer are here, and temperatures outside are going to continue to spike for sure. So let's go ahead right now and take a live look at our Orange Beach cam, and this is, of course, part of the Eastern Shore Toyota camera network. And right now it is bright. We are looking at a low risk of rip currents across our southwest Alabama beaches, but our Florida Panhandle beaches, we do have a medium risk. So as always, we want you to use caution even if there's that low risk. Much different swimming in the Gulf than it is your backyard pool. Always important to swim near the lifeguards as well. We're sitting at 90 degrees right now at the beach. The heat index is in the upper 90s, flirting with 100. We have a west wind right now coming in at 12, and that's going to be the trend today, a west-southwesterly wind flow. Satellite and radar showing just a few hit or miss clouds, but primarily sunshine is dominating, and just a few coastal showers south of Santa Rosa and Okaloosa County, and those are continuing to push east and just kind of fading out. Here's a look at the headlines for today. Sizzling hot summertime temperatures, that is going to continue. Heat index values moving into the triple-digit zone. We're already there for Mobile, and just a few spotty thunderstorms to take the edge off the heat, and that's not much. Let's go ahead and take a look at what it's going to be feeling like, and due to all that sticky saturated air, it's driving these heat index numbers up. Going to feel as hot as 105 today for Mobile, and same for the Pensacola area, about 104 to 105 there. 105 for Fairhope, Gulf Shores, and we're going to continue to be looking at high heat index values over the next couple of days. Notice those rain chances are going to be dropping 40% today, going all the way down to isolated by Thursday, but a big moisture surge coming in for the upcoming weekend. We'll take you through that forecast a little bit later in the show.
Kelly, thank you. First, in our headlines today, we have breaking news out of Baldwin County. Former Florida gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum was arrested in Daphne last week. Daphne police say they pulled the car he was driving over for erratic driving near North Main Street on July 2nd around 10:45 p.m. Police say while searching his car, they found a glass pipe on the center console, several rolled marijuana cigarettes, and 3 packages of substance that tested positive for meth. Gillum is charged with unlawful possession of a controlled substance, second-degree possession of marijuana. We will keep you updated on this story. Also today, Pensacola police releasing more details in the investigation into a deadly shooting in downtown Pensacola. Shots were fired early Sunday morning on Intendencia Street between Jefferson and Palafox. Police say 19-year-old Philip Shepard was killed. Investigators say 6 other people were hurt. Pensacola Police Chief Eric Winstrom says they have determined that at least 2 guns were fired, so it could be possible that this was a shootout. The chief also says 6 of the 7 people involved knew each other, and this shooting could be a result of a years-long feud.
We know that multiple of these individuals have known gang connections. Not prepared to say that these are gang members, but we know that there are feuds going back years, gang-related feuds, regardless of what the content of this feud is, which the detectives are looking into it. I don't think it's going to be anything that you or I or a member of the public would think would justify the death of a 19-year-old man who had his whole life ahead of him.
If you're watching now and you have any information about this shooting, please call Pensacola Police right away. And we are also learning more about a shooting in downtown Mobile that left 1 teenager dead. Police say it all happened early Sunday morning. Investigators tell us the victim was riding in a car with several other people near Government Street and Bayou Street when someone began shooting at their vehicle. Police say there were more than 3 people inside, including adults, but the teen was the only one hit. He was taken to the hospital where he later passed away. Mobile police say they are working to determine why the vehicle the victim was riding in was targeted.
A lot of the 4th of July activities had concluded, and the downtown population, for the most part, had cleared out. So at that time of morning, it's still under investigation why they were down there, who they have a confrontation with, if they had a confrontation with anyone, and why that vehicle in particular was struck by gunfire.
Police say the people who were inside the vehicle have been cooperating with investigators. Anyone with information is asked to call Mobile Police. And a Baldwin County teenager is behind bars charged as an adult after investigators say he stabbed both of his parents, killing his mother. Deputies say the 17-year-old and his parents got into an argument over discipline before the confrontation turned deadly Sunday night. 37-year-old Samantha Baker died at the scene. Her husband, 46-year-old Lance Baker, suffered multiple stab wounds and was airlifted to the hospital.
Our male, who is still in critical condition but is hopefully going to survive, he was running to houses trying to get some help.
That was probably the hardest part, was pulling up my camera and, listening to it and listening to the father yelling for help, please help me, I don't want to die, and it just carried on down.
Officials say the juvenile then locked himself inside the home and called 911. He was arrested at the scene and charged as an adult. At a bond hearing on Monday, prosecutors called him a danger to the public and requested a high bond. The judge set bond at $1 million, and he has 21 days to request a preliminary hearing. Meanwhile, 22-year-old Joshua Coleman is behind bars today, charged under the Machine Gun Conversion Device Act after officers found an illegal Glock switch during a traffic stop. This happened yesterday morning near Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue and Crawford Lane. Officers pulled over Coleman for a traffic violation, smelled marijuana, and searched the vehicle. Inside, investigators say they found 2 firearms, one equipped with a Glock switch. Coleman was taken to Metro Jail, and he has a bond hearing set for tomorrow. Well, President Trump is in Turkey for the NATO summit, where most of the discussions this week are expected to focus on defense spending and the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. But he's also arriving with plenty of frustration towards European allies for failing to back the U.S. during Operation Epic Fury against Iran. Fox's Rebecca Castor has the latest for us from Washington.
Greeted with an elaborate arrival ceremony, President Trump kicked off the NATO summit with a bilateral meeting with Turkish President Erdogan, the host of this year's meeting and the main reason he chose to attend despite frustrations with the alliance.
I was very disappointed with NATO, and frankly, if it weren't held in Turkey, where my friend happens to be a very strong leader, it's possible that I wouldn't have attended. But we weren't treated well because we did something in Iran.
Only minutes into the summit, where he'll come face to face with many world leaders who held back support for the U.S. war with Iran, President Trump made it clear he's not happy, and there could be consequences for the alliance moving forward.
In a way, I was testing people. I was testing to see whether or not they'd be there. Why are we spending hundreds of billions of dollars and they're not there for us?
Over the next several days, Trump is expected to press NATO allies to increase their defense spending and have tough conversations on burden sharing. But Russia remains NATO's biggest threat, and most of the discussions will focus on bolstering Ukraine's military. This is also President Trump's first meeting with NATO allies since cutting back American military assets committed to the alliance in a crisis. A senior NATO military spokesperson tells us those gaps have been largely filled by the Europeans. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Meanwhile, Élysée Palace says French President Emmanuel Macron is okay after an explosion near his hotel in Damascus, Syria. It says he wasn't at the Four Seasons property when it took place, but Macron is in Syria to meet with its president. Syrian state-run media says 2 blasts were reported in Damascus, and it reports at least 18 people are injured thus far. And concerns growing in Washington and Kentucky about the health of the state's longtime Senator Mitch McConnell. He has been in the hospital since June 14th after paramedics responded to a report of cardiac arrest at the 84-year-old's home, according to dispatcher audio. Well, 3 weeks later, there's been no specific updates on his condition.
A quarter of people who have cardiac arrest outside of the hospital actually survive to the hospital. And then of those people, a tiny fraction survive that hospitalization with a cognitive and neurologic intact status.
Republicans are already navigating a slim majority, and McConnell's absence is having an impact on the agenda, including on a war powers resolution late last month that narrowly passed, in part because he was not present to vote against it. McConnell is not up for re-election, and this term was set to be his last. 11:10 now. Thanks for sticking with us here on Fox 10 Midday. Coming up, an early morning boat fire in Bayou La Battery lights up the night sky. Stephen Moody will have the full details straight ahead. But first, Kelly, these warm temps have me ready for a cat nap.
Oh, yes, me too, Ashlyn. A great day to have a cat nap. It is going to be hot outside. Take a look at the forecast. We're going to go into the low 90s by 1, mid 90s by 2 o'clock. We love this picture of Mousy the kitten submitted by Kaylin Peavy. And of course, you can see those sea breeze storms will be around. I'm going to let you know we'll get a break from the heat a little bit later in the show.
La Battery as firefighters responded to a vessel fire, and now an investigation is underway. Fox 10 News reporter Stephen Moody has much more on what happened.
Viewer video capturing the moment the Bayou La Battery Fire Department responded to a vessel fire Tuesday morning. Happening just after 4 a.m., crews battled the intense blaze just off of Shell Belt Road. The viewer who filmed the fire says he called 911 immediately, then honked his horn to see if anyone was inside. Thankfully, it was empty. Daylight revealed the aftermath, the fire mostly contained to the inside. The owner showed up as we were reporting and had no idea what happened. He didn't want to go on camera, but he tells us that he doesn't know how it could have happened since nothing was left on and they've mostly been doing paint work. He also told us that the engine room was unscathed. He says he's invested over $40,000 into his boat and it's unknown at this time what can be salvaged. We spoke to the Bayou La Battery Fire Department, who says that the fire marshal has been contacted and an investigation is underway. Stephen Moody, Fox 10 News.
All right, Stephen, thank you. In the meantime, a stranger pulling a woman from a car engulfed in flames following a crash on the I-10 Bayway. We recently spoke to the woman who survived that crash, but now we're hearing from the man who helped pull her out. Nick Smith says he was on the Bayway when he saw a truck slam into the back of Autumn Caver's car that was right beside him. He says flames covered the car within seconds, and he immediately got out to help.
It was bad. I mean, I was surprised. I was surprised people walked away from that. And a F-150, he come up beside her, and he hit her at going at least 60 miles an hour. And I jumped out the car and ran over there to her, and I got the door open, and she was like unconscious whenever I got there.
Smith says he hopes Caver and her family continue to heal. Fox 10 has reached out to Alabama state troopers about the investigation into this crash. We are still waiting to hear back as of today. In the meantime, though, Caver says she and her husband lost everything inside the car, including $3,000 they were going to use for bills. This was also their family's only car. A GoFundMe has been set up to help them. We have that link inside this story on our website, fox10tv.com.
A live look from Pensacola. Look at that blue sky. Absolutely picture perfect there. Waters crystal clear and blue, and not a breath of wind right now in Pensacola in the surf zone. The waves just under a foot. It is going to be a great beach day, but please keep in mind there is going to be a medium risk of rip currents there at that Pensacola beach, so please swim with caution. We really only like you to swim when there's a low risk of rip currents, but we definitely know that you will have to splash off. Meanwhile, here is a live look at our Eastern Shore Toyota camera network quad view, and you can see looking beautiful in Orange Beach, a low risk of rip currents here. Notice where the Bayway meets the causeway, we are dealing with a little bit of haze. Same thing for downtown Mobile, and over Biloxi Bay, our D'Iberville camera there looking nice and quiet. So it's really beautiful. The only problem is it's the heat, kind of a quick hitting heat wave this week. Typical July pattern. That sweltering heat not going to be letting up for really the next couple of days. By the weekend, it looks like some rain action will help take off some of the heat, the edge off of it. But sea breeze storms are set to bubble up a little bit later today. Those are going to be working their way inland, but just not enough rain or clouds to give us a break. So keep in mind it's going to be sizzling hot. If you have any outdoor activities planned, best time to do it early morning or today. I would really wait until the evening hours. Triple-digit heat index values are already in place. pretty much area wide in Mobile County. And again, just those sea breeze storms are going to be around, very spotty in nature. Satellite and radar showing a few additional clouds around, a few thunderstorms offshore, and we've just seen a few isolated storms develop right there in Baldwin County, just as you cross Mobile County, across the far western edges. But take a look right now at the water vapor loop, and here's why we're dealing with that big moisture surge. It's this low over Tennessee, and with this counterclockwise flow, we're getting a southwest wind that's really kind of been a bit relentless, and that's why we're seeing a lot of Gulf moisture slung right on our shoreline. That's driving those heat index values up, and notice that little dry slot of air back behind it. As this low begins to kick off towards the north and east, we're going to see some of that drier air moving in. So we will see our rain chances drop just a little bit this week before going back up over the weekend. Kind of a roller coaster ride there. So muggy today, tomorrow with low to mid 70s for dew points. We're back into the upper 70s later in the week. Over the next 10 hours for Pensacola, we're going to hover right around 90 degrees in between noon and about 2 o'clock. We'll drop to the upper 80s later in the day and mid 80s by the time you head off to eat. In Mobile, off to sleep. It's time to eat, though. It is lunchtime. 92 degrees currently for Mobile. We're going to see those temperatures spike into the mid-90s by around 3:30, and we're going to be dropping into the 80s, upper 80s around supper time. Your heat index forecast, 105 Mobile, 104 for Pensacola, and that futurecast showing those sea breeze storms beginning to flare up and just kind of fizzle. That's what they do around 5 o'clock. We'll see those move over towards Jackson, Clark County, as well as Evergreen, and more of that will begin to percolate as we head on into Wednesday. We're going to talk more about the tropics and how things are looking there a little bit later in the show.
Kelly, thank you. Back in our headlines now, major flooding from torrential storms is causing some headaches for states in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, and more rough weather appears to be on the way. Look at this. Some streets in New Jersey are looking like rivers right now. Tens of millions of people along the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, and southern New England areas are dealing with the aftermath of storms that produced flash flooding over the past few days. Additional storms are expected in some already stricken areas, which will likely cause additional wreckage. Some residents in Harwinton, Connecticut have been without power for at least 2 days. Officials there are reminding residents to be cautious while out in the wetter than usual elements. And not only that, a devastating tornado has torn through central China, killing at least 11 people and injuring more than 330 others. The twister ripped through Hubei province, packing winds of up to 160 miles an hour, damaging more than 4,800 homes, overturning cars, and destroying farmland. One of the most chilling moments was when a 30-year-old man was literally sucked out of his 12th floor apartment along with his furniture, and he remains in the ICU this morning. Experts say the tornado was fueled by Typhoon Maysak colliding with the region's early summer rainy season. Chinese President Xi Jinping is calling for an all-out rescue and relief effort.
The U.S. men finished their World Cup run with a devastating loss to Belgium, but there's still plenty to celebrate. I'm Ashley Dvorkin in Seattle with details of the match coming up.
Their World Cup run, and it comes to an end with a loss against Belgium. Fox News Edge entertainment reporter Ashley Dvorkin has a recap.
The American men's World Cup journey may be over, but it was still a history-making run. With a chance to advance to the quarterfinals for the first time in 24 years, the U.S. men's team set out Monday night to prove any doubters wrong. But its defense wasn't a match for Belgium, which controlled the pitch with 2 early goals, going on to win 4-1.
It was a rough watch. Didn't seem like the energy was there today.
Just seeing us go so far, even though, we probably expected more, it's heartbreaking.
Malik Tillman was the only scorer for the U.S. with a free kick goal in the first half. But the team's luck ended there, and later star player Christian Pulisic left the game in the second half with a leg injury.
It's just frustrating to end like that, of course.
Belgium now goes on to play Spain on Friday in the quarterfinals. For the U.S., it's a time to reflect on its tournament success.
We make proud the whole country. And that is only the beginning.
The team finished with 11 goals, an all-time high for the program in a World Cup, and secured its first knockout round victory in 24 years. But players say the most important, bringing in a new generation of soccer fans.
We've felt every minute of it, and long may it continue, because you know, it's an unbelievable group of players in there.
With the U.S. exit, each of the tournament co-hosts, Canada, Mexico, and the U.S., have exited the World Cup in the round of 16. In Seattle, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
It's 11:23 now on our Tuesday. Coming up, fuel prices are down. So why are airfares still through the roof? We've got the answer for you coming up. Plus, you booked your summer getaway, but what happens if wildfires get in the way? Everything you need to know is coming up on Fox 10 Midday. We'll be right back. But first, let's check in with Kelly.
All right, weather-wise, we are tracking more sweltering temperatures. We're going to talk about what's in store as we take it into the weekend. It looks like we're going to get some relief from all this heat. I'll step you through the forecast after the break.
This is Fox 10 Midday.
Welcome back. Turning now to your half-hour headlines today. Former Mobile County Sheriff Sam Cochran has passed away. The sheriff's office says he died peacefully yesterday, surrounded by family and close friends. Former Sheriff Cochran spent nearly 50 years serving Mobile County, including a decade as Mobile Police Chief and 4 terms as sheriff before retiring back in 2023. The Mobile County Commission praised his, quote, quiet confidence and lifetime of service, saying the county is better for his leadership. We're told details on his service will be announced in the coming days, but our hearts are certainly with those affected by his death. Meanwhile, Mobile County's top prosecutor has been named District Attorney of the Year by the Alabama District Attorneys Association. Mobile County District Attorney Keith Blackwood was recognized during a conference last week in Gulf Shores. The association noting his effort to eliminate a case backlog from the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as his Helping Families initiative. District Attorney Blackwood says he's focused on reducing violent crime, improving efficiency, and expanding prevention and intervention efforts, so a big congratulations to him. Finally, mailing a letter could soon cost you just a little more. The U.S. Postal Service plans to raise the price of a first-class Forever stamp from 78 cents to 82 cents, pending approval from federal regulators. If approved, the new price would go into effect this Sunday, and postcard prices would also go up, with domestic postcards rising to 65 cents and international postcards to $1.75. The Postal Service says it needs more revenue to help offset rising operating costs as it works to remain self-funded. Meta says U.S. states are seeking $1.4 trillion in penalties in August youth safety trial. Frozen blueberries recalled at Publix following links to E. coli illnesses. Walmart lowers prices on thousands of items. Nestle to tweak some food recipes to appeal to duller GLP-1 palates. Fox's CJ Papa has those stories and more in today's Fox Business Briefs.
Meta says 4 states are seeking $1.4 trillion in penalties over claims the company intentionally made Facebook and Instagram addictive for young users. The number is close to the company's market capitalization of roughly $1.5 trillion. In a court filing on Monday, Meta wrote the number is unsupported by evidence. Check your freezers. Frozen blueberries sold at Publix are being recalled by the product's manufacturer because of a potential E. coli contamination. The frozen Greenwise organic IQF blueberries, with a best by date of February 9, 2028, has been linked to 12 illnesses associated with E. coli. Publix is urging customers to discard or return any Greenwise frozen blueberry products if bought before July 4th. Walmart is cutting prices on thousands of products to aid customers amid high inflation. Ground beef prices are being cut by 12%, and the company says it will also cut prices on thousands of household products, toys, and clothing. And Nestle is changing up some of its flavors to counter duller taste buds for customers who are taking GLP-1 weight loss drugs. The food giant says its chefs are working on the changes now, which could include more spices or pepper. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Well, gas prices are down, but don't expect your airfare to follow. According to Deutsche Bank, airfares are up 15 to 20% from just 1 year ago, even as jet fuel prices have dropped 40% since their peak in April. Two things are keeping ticket prices high: demand and less competition. Airlines have little motivation to lower prices as long as people keep buying those tickets. And the bankruptcy of Spirit Airlines has removed pressure on legacy carriers to compete on price. Delta and United stocks hit record highs last month, and American Airlines stock rose 30%. Experts say fares typically drop in the fall, but prices are still expected to remain higher than last year.
All right, that heat is getting cranked up. A live look at the Fairhope Pier. You can see right now just a beautiful day over the bay. We have a southwest wind, that flag kind of blowing in the breeze there. We're not seeing many folks walking, that's for sure. It is sweltering hot, and that heat index already approaching the triple-digit mark. So right around 100 for Mobile and for Fairhope right now. That heat index is going to be spiking to about 105. Here's a look at our Eastern Shore Toyota camera network of Dolphin Island from the Sea Lab here, and looking great there. Dolphin Island Bridge visibility is great. Waters are looking pretty slick, and we've seen many boats heading out. Noon today, mostly sunny, 87 degrees. Same thing at 1 o'clock. We're going to keep with a mix of sun and clouds, not ruling out a few pop-up style storms. 86 as we head towards around 2 o'clock, and by 4 o'clock, we're going to be holding in the mid to upper 80s at the island. As we take a look at the satellite and radar right now, we have been tracking a small thunderstorm kind of packing a little bit of a punch near Stockton. There's some lightning in there as this begins to move over towards Stockton and Vaughn as this moves towards the east at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Not tracking any severe weather. We're not expecting that today, but there will be some storms around. Another storm just north of Mount Vernon. Very small in nature, but again, listen up for that thunder. If you hear it, you are within striking distance. And we've had a few coastal showers and isolated storms offshore south of our Florida Panhandle beaches from Pensacola to Fort Walton early this morning, and those continue just to fizzle. It's definitely going to be a very hot day today. Let's talk about the heat index values. We're going to go to 105 today. We'll do it again on Wednesday, and pretty much heat index values are going to hold around 105 through the first half of the weekend. And then even on Sunday, we're talking 104, may go a little bit below that because we are going to be tracking some weekend showers. We'll have a big moisture surge coming in over the weekend, and then by Monday, 102. I think next week our forecast will turn a little bit wetter. Here's a look at what's happening in Pensacola over the next 10 hours. And right now looking picture perfect in Pensacola, but we do expect a few sea breeze storms to bubble up. 90 degrees right now during the lunchtime hours. We head into the heart of the afternoon. We'll see those temperatures slide a little bit into the upper 80s. We do expect some additional clouds coming in, and by the time you head off to bed, we're going to be falling into the 80s. And in Mobile, it's going to be hotter here. We do expect the heat to build to about 95 degrees, but again, we will see those temperatures begin to slide down once we lose the daytime heating and the sun goes down. As we take a look at the heat index for today, here's how things are looking area wide. Mobile 105, same for Fairhope Gulf Shores, 104 for Pensacola, 105 for Crestview, and even more triple digits for Chatham, Leakesville, and Loosedale. So as we take a look at the futurecast, notice those sea breeze storms around 3 o'clock today over into Okaloosa County, Clark County, seeing those scattered storms. And it looks like a lot of these storms are going to favor our inland zones, Washington, Clark, Monroe, and Conecuh County this evening before they begin to just kind of fizzle out. We will do it again tomorrow. And of course, we do expect more widespread storms coming in for the upcoming weekend. There's a look right now at your 7-day forecast. High temperatures pretty much in the mid 90s through midweek, lower 90s Thursday through the weekend, and our rain chances will ramp up after dropping on Thursday and Friday to isolated. We'll have about half of the Fox 10 News area getting wet over the weekend.
Good to know, Kelly. Thank you. And with warmer weather moving in, ticks are also moving into new areas around the country, and they are bringing some new diseases with them. Morning Acre Sarah Wall is taking a look at what may be headed our way, what these new diseases are, and why experts believe this is happening. In Depth with Sarah Wall, tick-related illnesses is available now on the Fox 10 Gulfstream TV app and, of course, on our Fox 10 Facebook page. Summer vacation time, and for a lot of people that means a getaway into the wilderness. But this is also fire season in much of the country. So what can you do if your summer rental is uncomfortably close to the smoke and the flames? Susan Campbell takes a look.
Unexpected events like wildfires are often covered. Other things like a hurricane in Florida during hurricane season most likely wouldn't be. But there are a lot of variables, and this can change by the minute as short-term rental companies monitor emergencies. There's smoke in the sky above Sedona as the pocket fire continues to burn. Leanne Underwood can see it from her Airbnb several miles from the flames.
We're kind of just watching it and playing it by ear.
We spoke with Leanne right before she left for her family vacation. She wasn't sure if they were actually gonna go. She had reached out to the host to find out if they could reschedule.
I had just mentioned my daughter has asthma. It's been under control for years, so hopefully it won't be a problem, but with smoke, you just don't know.
It's a fair question. What are your rights if you have a short-term rental reservation near a wildfire? According to the Arizona Attorney General's office, it depends on the terms and conditions of the contract you signed. So you have to read the fine print. For example, for Verbo, the company has an extenuating circumstances policy that covers several things, including wildfires and government travel restrictions. If it's activated by the company, hosts have to provide refunds. For Airbnb, you can get a refund if there are mandatory travel restrictions, such as an evacuation order.
We don't get our money back, so it's like, that's $1,700. So I'm like, we're gonna go. And if there is evacuations, then we leave.
Leanne's family typically goes to Slide Rock, but that's closed because of the fire. And they like hiking, but there are some trail closures too.
It just depends on how the wind's blowing, and if the air quality's cruddy, we're not gonna really wanna be out hiking. We'll still make memories no matter what.
If you have a reservation that's not eligible for penalty-free cancellation, but you still want to cancel, reach out to the host and ask if they're willing to refund your reservation or reschedule it. I'm Susan Campbell.
Your time is 11:36 now, and robots are patrolling the streets of one U.S. city, and it's not science fiction. We'll show you what they're looking for. Plus, she has millions of followers, but she isn't real at all. The AI influencer now has a brand new role in Hollywood, and it has some people concerned. That story and much more is coming up in your Midday Talkers after this. Looks like your typical Instagram influencer, but Tilly Norwood is completely AI generated.
It's hard to believe, and now she's even getting her own movie.
Okay, so the film is called Misaligned, made by London-based studio Particle 6, the same team that created her. In it, Tilly actually knows she isn't real and exists in a digital world called the Tillyverse.
Now, her very existence sent shockwaves through Hollywood last year, but Particle 6 says that the project proves you still need plenty of human creativity to tell a great story, and AI is just the tool to help get you there.
Okay, so is she an influencer or an actress now?
Well, apparently she is both, and it's hard to believe, Ashlyn, that she is not even real because she looks real.
Right, and there's so much, we were just talking about this, so much AI generated content out there that you have to be careful when you're scrolling through platforms on social media. But I love the message of this movie that AI is a great tool, but it's not a replacement.
Absolutely, because you know, there's just like so many people, like you said, that can really kind of get overlooked, and we want to keep things real.
Absolutely.
But it just shows you where the future is headed.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of beauty in AI, but also some danger too. So thankful that people are really talking about this now.
And I love how we're getting more educated on how to detect what is real and what is AI, but it's unbelievable.
It's wild. Definitely want to check that movie out for sure, and you should as well. In the meantime, though, listen to this. Some robots are hitting the streets of Bangor, Maine, and they're on a mission to make the city more accessible.
Now, the city hired an Oregon-based company called Daxbot to send 6 small robots rolling through sidewalks in the city, and they're there to identify areas that don't meet ADA compliance standards.
Wow, the city paid $95,000 for the contract, but here's the payoff. What would take humans 1 to 2 years to assess, the robots can knock out in just 8 to 10 weeks.
Unbelievable. Now, the robots are only 3 feet tall. Take a look at them. They kind of roll there. They have similar assessments in California and Texas, and as one Bangor resident put it, We all predicted someday robots would be running around, and here we are.
Okay, they're very useful for a good cause. We'll probably be seeing a lot more of these. I don't know if you've seen the robots at restaurants that will deliver your food to you.
Yes.
I've been to a few of those. I think it's a matter of time, truly, before they take over.
No, I agree. The robots that really kind of freak me out a little bit are the ones that look like animals. They're really cute. They have the wagging tail.
Don't even get me started.
But you know, I really think this is a positive thing, because if humans had to do that, the number of miles with heat, the weather elements, and it's pretty neat.
You mentioned heat. I don't know if you heard, but I think last year the city of Mobile rolled out those robotic lawnmowers, and I was driving downtown the other day and I saw one and I was like, that's so nice. So someone doesn't have to be out in these scorching temperatures.
I know, because that heat will sneak up on you.
It will. It sure will. Well, forget everything you know about hot dog buns.
That's right. The chip company Pringles, we all love Pringles, they just dropped what they're calling Pop Dog buns, and they are potato-based buns infused with 3 of their most popular flavors.
Okay, barbecue, honey mustard, and sour cream and onion are the flavors. The buns are 7.5 inches long and are free when you buy a Pringles 3-pack online at onceyoupopmarket.com or through their Instagram and Facebook shops.
Now, the limited edition buns drop July 8th, just in time for National Hot Dog Day on July 15th. And Pringles says it's all inspired by a, quote, global love for the hot dog.
I love it. Just so you know, it's first come, first serve, so no word on how long they will last. This is fun, Kelly.
It is fun, you know, because when you think of hot dogs, you think that they go with chips and then Pringles, so you're kind of getting all those flavors infused in one big
I love
bite.
it. I love it. And have you ever put Pringles on your hot dogs?
I haven't.
Crunch it up, put on the side, delicious.
Oh yeah, that sounds great.
My brother taught me that hack, but it's delicious. Summertime, perfect time for hot dogs, and we are feeling it outside today.
Oh yeah, we are for sure. And I like the sour cream and onion. That's my favorite flavor.
Ooh, okay. I love barbecue.
Yes.
Can't go wrong with barbecue. Circling back there.
Yeah.
All right, well, your time 11:42 now, Kelly. We are taking a live look outside.
Yeah, those temperatures are sweltering hot. We're going to let you know if relief is in sight, and the risk of rain is going to be going up. We'll time it all out for you in the 7-day forecast right after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Poland had a close call when lightning struck. Plus, a lifeguard is thanking his lucky stars to be alive after a lightning bolt struck him on the beach in Florida. Cole Higgins has today's Take a Look at This.
Take a look at this. Surveillance video from Wrocław, Poland, capturing the dramatic moment lightning struck a fountain as children played nearby. Officials say miraculously no injuries were reported. However, the fountain was significantly damaged.
I was like, holy I'm alive. I couldn't believe it.
A Florida lifeguard is feeling lucky after surviving a lightning strike on Ormond Beach.
I got my hand on the side of the truck and all of a sudden just boom!
Damian Curry says he was responding to a call about a woman who needed help getting to her car when the lightning bolt hit near his patrol truck. The energy from the indirect strike transferring from the truck into Curry's body.
And I'm shaking. I mean, I'm violently shaking. It was like I was in panic. My whole left side of my body was tingling, pins and needles. I mean, it was like a bomb went off.
Curry says when the bolt hit, there was only a light drizzle falling, showing just how fast a storm can turn dangerous.
If you see clouds and hear thunder, get off the beach, go inside. It's not worth your life.
And finally, from lightning strikes to lightning fast toilets. Yes, you heard that right, toilets.
It was a little scary.
In Pangburn, Arkansas, outhouse racers rolled down Main Street over the holiday weekend, hoping to finish in the #1 spot.
So basically, you just sit in there and you steer down the hill, and the big tires help it go down the hill way better.
Some of the drivers practicing ahead of time to make sure they didn't wipe out.
We took him and did a few test rides, and then I let go of him up at the top of the hill, and I said, you're on your own, just don't touch the brakes.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Cole Higgins.
That is wild, Kelly.
It's really cute, the little people in there.
So much fun, the things that they'll come up with. I love it.
Yes, who would have thought?
Wild stuff.
Ever. And I wonder what the prize is for the winner.
It better be good.
I know, better be a new toilet, maybe so.
That would be nice. Nice for the
Yeah.
parents too. Kind of circling back to that story as well, they were talking a lot about lightning safety.
Yes.
Really important on the beach. Are we seeing any of that today, or is it pretty clear out there?
Well, you know what? We did have a few coastal storms a little bit earlier.
Mhm.
Those fizzled, but we were just looking at a little lone storm that was producing some lightning in Baldwin County. So if you hear that rumble of thunder, you definitely are within striking distance. You need to head inside until that storm has passed. Here's a look at the weather headlines for today. Typical July heat, and that plus the humidity is going to keep some sweltering conditions around today. Also, that sea breeze is going to continue to bubble up, and that's going to spark some storms, and they will begin to shift to inland and could take the edge off the heat briefly. I don't think we're really going to be tracking any big time thunderstorms that will really kind of cool us off. There's a look at that lone storm that was producing some lightning near the Stockton area. That's continuing to push towards the east. And then when we take a look at what's happening near Fort Walton Beach, a lot of those storms are just kind of fizzling, not moving inland, but definitely very hot today. Take a look at the heat index values over the next 7 days. They're going to average right around 105 through Saturday and Sunday, and around 102 by Monday. So the heat and humidity not going anywhere. As far as the Fox 10 News area today, 105 Mobile, 104 Pensacola, 105 Gulf Shores, Fairhope. You get my drift. It's dangerous, and that heat index is taken in the shade. Of course, we take a look at the future cast again. The sea breeze storms will be pretty much splash and dash, I think, favoring our inland zones this evening. So keep an eye to the sky if you're going to be grilling out then. Things are going to go quiet overnight. We'll lose the daytime heating and could see a few coastal storms tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow it looks like our coastal zones will see the bulk of that rain activity. There's a look right now at your 7-day forecast. Highs going to be holding in the mid-90s through midweek, low 90s as we take it into the weekend, and wake-up temperatures are going to be in the mid-70s. More rain over the weekend.
Right, we are in the dog days of summer, Kelly,
Yes,
so
indeed.
just survive it. Do what you can to stay safe, cool, wear that sunscreen, drink your water, all the things. Thank you so much for watching Fox 10 Midday. We will see you at noon for Midday News Brief for a look at your weather and headlines. We'll see you then. Welcome to your midday news brief here on the Gulfstream app. I'm Ashlyn Mitchell. Let's take a look at our Tuesday headlines. We have some breaking news out of Baldwin County to start. Former Florida gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum was arrested in Daphne last week. Daphne police say they pulled the car he was driving over for erratic driving near North Main Street on July 2nd around 10:45 p.m. Police say while searching his car, they found a glass pipe on the center console, several rolled marijuana cigarettes, and 3 packages of substance that tested positive for meth. Gillum is charged with unlawful possession of a controlled substance, second-degree possession of marijuana. We will keep you updated on this case. And Pensacola police releasing more details in the investigation into a deadly shooting in downtown Pensacola. Shots were fired early Sunday morning on Intendencia Street between Jefferson and Palafox. Police say 19-year-old Philip Shepard was killed. Investigators say 6 other people were hurt in the incident. Pensacola Police Chief Eric Winstrom says they have determined that at least 2 guns were fired, so it could be possible that this was a shootout. The chief also says 6 of the 7 people involved knew each other, and this shooting could be a result of a years-long feud.
We know that multiple of these individuals have known gang connections. Not prepared to say that these are gang members, but we know that there are feuds going back years, gang-related feuds, regardless of what the content of this feud is, which the detectives are looking into it. I don't think it's going to be anything that you or I or a member of the public would think would justify the death of a 19-year-old man who had his whole life ahead of him.
If you have any information about this shooting, please call Pensacola Police right away. And a Baldwin County teenager is behind bars, charged as an adult, after investigators say he stabbed both of his parents, killing his mother. Deputies say the 17-year-old and his parents got into an argument over discipline before the confrontation turned deadly Sunday night. 37-year-old Samantha Baker died at the scene. Her husband, 46-year-old Lance Baker, suffered multiple stab wounds and was airlifted to the hospital.
our male, who is still in critical condition but is hopefully going to survive. He was running to houses trying to get some help.
That was probably the hardest part, was pulling up my camera and